Oh dear God, they're killing everyone! Run for your goddamn lives! You know, I existed for less than a day, and I'm pretty sure this is more death most people see in their whole lifetimes. It's hard to think these were the same boys I dreamed about seeing a beach a few years ago. There we are, a safe space while these Nazi rip-offs get eaten. Oh God, he ate the warhammer! Nothing can stop. Staying out of that. Well, let's look back on these two teenagers committing war crimes and remember where they came from. Reiner, save us! Hopefully it will drown out the screams. Oh God, I have zeppelins! Hopefully. Very hopefully. When Attack on Titan first came out, if I told you that Eren freaking Yeager would become one of the most interesting pro-tags of anime in years, would you have believed me? I remember when Attack on Titan first came out, they compared this sort of online on a lot of things. The Eren and Kirito were compatible Gary Stews, for example. A rare title that most male characters manage to avoid, unlike female ones. Korra, rape. Sorry, back cough. As I was saying, like Korra and Rei. Well, the last movie pushed that with Rei, but that movie took more anime tropes than anything, so I blamed it more on that than the soonness. Bottom line, Eren was not well liked when the show first appeared. So understand that Eren was hated before the later seasons. Or more likely, people didn't give the show, and by extension Eren, a chance early on because it got so popular first. People were having a big backlash over popular animes getting so much attention. Again, Sword Art Online is mostly responsible for this. Watch the Bridge, much better. To be fair, if you only had season 1, Eren Yeager does resemble your typical anime protag with some unlikable angst and rough hatred towards everyone who just wants to help him. Especially Mikasa and Armin, who are just good people who are trying to help him, and he treats them like shit. Especially since this is around the same time that soft boy anime started to get more popular, like Deku from My Hero, who is a soft boy, cries, genuinely cared about people, and shit like that gets angsty, edgy folk go, nothing personnel, kid. Ugh. That is something that plays into Eren's character later on. Armin too, while he never had as much hate though, will get his own video. So let's lead with the embodiment of by any means necessary, Eren the Devil of Paradise Yeager. Eren Yeager killed a man when he was a child. To be fair, they were child traffickers who were going to do horrible things to a woman and her daughter. Still, it could be seen as a hint to things that are to come. Namely that he isn't sociopathic, he's at least has the tendencies of one. He exhibits this as soon as the opportunity to deliver violence is given to him. But the story didn't start with that. It started with a boy yearning to be free. Eren's constant talk of freedom comes from his trapped existence inside the walls and the creator. The creator of Attack on Titan, and hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, Hajime Isayama, felt trapped in his childhood home, a place surrounded by mountains and natural divine lines. All he did was basically make Eren Yeager a more potent and hampered down version of this, with the obstacle that's keeping him from being free being literal giant monsters. The Titans. Oh, the Titans. We will get to their use in the subject of fighting monsters later, but let's pivot back to Eren. Eren was a boy who dreamed of nothing more but a life that was free, a life greater than he had. A fine enough life, a domesticity, and peace was keeping him trapped. He didn't want a life that was peaceful, but was always on the threat of some dangerous violence on the other side of his walls. And then one peaceful day was ruined when a colossal titan broke down the walls of his home, trapping his mother, and then killing her with a titan that will bring him nightmares later on. And his boyhood dream of freedom became a death wish against monsters. A promise that is broken within the first minute of his first fight when he has the chance to give them everything they gave him. It's not his fault per se, it's just that his world takes a blind idealism and shits it out. Also, to get this possible plot hole out of the way, the Santa looking motherfucker didn't get the Titan powers because he didn't essentially eat his food right. He didn't goddamn chew. And this is why you chew your food, kids, so an emo boy doesn't bust his way out of your stomach. Aw shit, oh fuck, why didn't I chew? Plot hole over. Eren Yeager starts his journey as a naive boy that thinks he could get away with his naive thoughts in a gritty, unforgiving world. His naivete does not end with the death of his mother and his life in poverty. They only end when true danger and death are around him, and even then it's not instant. This isn't really instant character development, but more like how a river cuts through a valley to make a gorge. That gorge is currently Eren Yeager's soul. I would argue the big point of development starts when Eren finds out about Berthold and Reiner. He has smaller bits of it with the death of Levi's squad and other scouts before then, but it really begins when the other secret titans reveal themselves. Before that, let's look back at a quote about Armin from before that season, when only secret shifter was the female titan and they baited her into the forest. Armin says that in order to fight monsters you must become one yourself, or at least give up one aspect of your humanity. On the offset, that could just be the attitude of the scouts, seeing as their job requires them to move forward without looking back at the bodies of their comrades. But taking it to apply to Eren, it shows the beginning of a startling plan of Eren taking in the hatred and evil around him until he becomes its embodiment later on. First, it starts out simple and practical, incorporating Annie's fight moves and ferocity after being coaxed by Armin and Mikasa to forget Annie as a comrade and only see her as the enemy. Logical for the situation, yes. Unintentionally setting a dangerous precedent for later? Also yes. After this, the first curveball of Eren's ideals of black and white morality is thrown with the reveal of Reiner and Berthold as being the ones who ruined his life in the first episode. The two who coincidentally were also one of his best friends outside of Armin and Mikasa. They were his second set of monsters to fight. The Titans were mindless beasts that ate humans whenever they saw one. Annie was a cold-hearted sociopath that took pleasure in stomping out the life of small creatures and people. Berthold and Reiner? They were his friends, comrades, people Eren looked up to, and they had good times. Then Reiner had to have a mental breakdown and Berthold was dragged with him to an impromptu kidnapping. Eren then tries to fit this into his black and white worldview that he has made to this point. Reiner and Berthold are mustachio villains that are out to destroy humanity. But while they have him trapped at the giant forest, Ymir basically gives away a spoiler about the world to Eren. The world's the enemy. I wonder if Ymir is chilling at whatever afterlife the world has and is going like, well shit, maybe I should have phrased that better. Remember that wording. It's a prized literary device for later. After some battles and some shenanigans where a revolution happens, a royal family is revealed, and Eren goes into a deep guilt trip, kill me to save the world, the most heroic way to commit suicide, it's denied by Historia, who says that the Titan should eat all of humanity and that she is the worst girl in the world by saving Eren and saving him from his self-pity. Again, save that for later in your mental brain. After having a bonding moment with Historia when her father turns into a... By Solve, what the fuck is that? It's like a diabetic slug mated with a warm man. That is beyond abnormal. Anyway. Eren punctuates this development by punching himself and saying that the stupid child is dead. Or that he at least thinks he's dead. This might be a weird scene on first watching, but it does reinforce something we already know about Eren. Especially his general violence and destructive nature. he does not grow up in a sense. And he specifically says he wishes that kid was dead, not grown up or is gone. He expresses any form of return to that as worthy as self-harm. Eren is a man who focuses all his problems by the medium of violence, while at the same time is put on a world that rewards him with survival essentially, and continuing off while the idealistic morons die off from rocks or titans or other people. Skipping ahead to the battle to retake Shiganshina, we see the last of the early whiny Eren again as he begs for Levi to revive Armin with the Titan Serum, pleading with Levi as his teeth are shattered and his friend is barely clinging on to life. There will be never a right answer as to who should have been revived that day, but Eren's friend won out and Eren learned a truth that probably shatters him the most. Not visibly. Ymir's words haunt him as he learns she was right. The world is the enemy. He learns that the story of his father and that of the world beyond the walls. A horrible world where people he shares blood with are living war machines that are blamed for every problem. He understands that the world-shattering thing that was going to change his life was that the world wanted him dead, along with the revelation that the Titans are just humans trapped in monstrous shells. Now the scouts had a name and face to their enemy beyond the sea, who wanted to exterminate every last one of them. The tragic part is that face was human. No Marleyan, the people who are screwing them over, will admit it, but by their very nature and fundamentals, they are human. Not demons, not monsters, not divine beings. People no different from them fundamentally. It's why the season ends with Eren finally coming to the sea, one of the biggest goals that he and Armin had for that whole adventure. And all he could think about is, if we kill all of the enemies over there, will we be free? Eren is finalizing something here. As we learn later, everything from here is basically going according to his plan. He goes to Marley and scouts it out. His worst fears realize. He has become Reiner, seeking out information on his enemy while plotting their destruction and planning some war crimes along with that. In this case, the body count is lower, but the damage is greater. In one fell swoop, Eren killed the military hierarchy and got yet another power, all while getting the whole world united against him and his people. And that is compared to his real plan. After the raid on Liberia, it is shown in flashbacks what the cast did in between reclaiming the sea and the raid on Liberia. Mostly civilization building as they learn how far behind the world they are compared to the world and how the world sees them. Worse than rats, it turns out. At least rats are sometimes kept as pets. Also, spoilers up ahead. No what? Skip to this time stop. So yeah, Monkey Boy leads Genocide Boy to the Genocide weapon, and Eren frees Ymir and uses the Titans to stop the army around Paradise, thereby keeping his status as a protagonist and after betraying everyone, including his friends and family, and upholding his virtue by showing he had their best interests in heart and didn't want to, I don't know, kill the entire world by stomping the ever-loving shit out of them and restarting the world with just Paradise as the only place that has civilization. No. No, that would not be Attack on Titan for longer than a day. The same day Goku gives up fighting is the day Attack on Titan will ever end with something that's sappy or that leaves with no consequences. So yeah, Eren commits global genocide and the ending of the series isn't out yet, but yeah, he has killed, let's guess here, assuming at least the same amount of people during the 20th century as in our world. The Colossal Titans stopping the shit out of, not Africa, population mostly white and pale people. Carried 1, 2, 5, add in a few random Middle East people. A metric shit ton. A shit ton of people. It's kind of funny that Eren took the shonen idea of never giving up and made it so that the tireless dream he would never give up on was the death of the world. Well, everything but the island, not Madagascar. Same principle, really. Much like an anime protagonist, he gains new powers as he fights, does everything for his friends, and buck most authority figures that stand in his way. Eren simply took that shit and inverted it to be like a villain. He gained his power by eating people. No workarounds, no way to avoid bloodshed, just straight up om nom gnawing. He kills the world because the world wants to kill his friends. And the authority that Eren bucked against was a suicidal pacifistic king and essentially world peace. That's pretty tame as tyrants go, and extreme as revolutionaries go. But that is Attack on Titan in a nutshell. Take every trope in an anime and use it to tell a horror story where the most frightening monster is the protagonist. A boy who wants to murder the world for murdering his childhood. Eren Yeager, the boy that was willing to become the devil the world saw him as, and to be the savior of his people, even if his people don't really want that shit. Still up in the air whether his plan will succeed or if the Alliance crew can stop him in the manga, but I predict if not a sorrowful end, then at least a bittersweet end. Unless another twist comes, Eren's story will only end in blood, either his or humanity's.
And with that out of the way, I guess I have to figure out how to get out of here, or if I want to leave. I don't know, maybe we get a cool fight out of this. Okay, that man is only in half armor. That is not an armored titan. That is I want to die titan. I'll leave. I guess this is my base of operations. Home. It's my default. This is my default snap now. But what's for next video? Can we finally do magic systems? I want to learn some. Oh. Phantom Outrage. Phantom Outrage is good too. That can be good too. Maybe we can talk about the Avatar